play Alex in Alex of Venice, and basically it's a story about, at the beginning, sort of my life falling apart. My husband leaves me, and we have a 10-year-old son that I haven't really been around for as much because I've been really focused on my job. And I have a dad who's played by Don Johnson, who's got his own problems, and then I have a sister who's played by Katie. So it's a sort of like all of her relationships, and it's a very realistic slice of life film. It's just kind of about a woman trying to figure her life out, and sort of early midlife crisis, I would say. And I'm really proud of it. It's a really great, very relatable story.
Absolutely. So a little teaser into you two.
Well, Lily is basically somebody that lives in the moment, and she, has always kind of been a fuck up, and this is her time to like rise to the occasion and help her sister out, and she sort of does that in her own way. But I think living in the moment and not filtering yourself is something you can take from her, and that you only live once. And that the story, I mean, I think that has touched a lot of people, that it just feels real. Like a little, she's probably like, I don't know, 21. Her parents are not 21, she's 18. This girl, she came up to me last night. I know her through a family friend, and her parents are getting a divorce. She said she was like bawling through the whole film because it really like touched her, and of how real it was, that it wasn't like this fake film. Or someone said that last night, where it's like a big moment happens and everyone like, where in life like shit just happens, and it kind of happens while you're like on the phone or answering an email, and you realize like, oh wait, my life and my marriage has fallen apart in the midst of like work, or how distracted you can become, and then just things pass you by.
Wow.
Your turn.
Try to beat that.
I'm going the other way.
I'm going the other.
So I play a character by the name of Frank. My theme is...
What's your theme?
My theme is Frank and Alex, how Alex got her groove back.
That was going to be the title.
How Alex
but we went with Alex of Venice.
Yeah. What I responded to about this film was the fact of life, but I love, and I've had great respect and a launch with actor directors, and in the independent world sort of launch me into the critic space. I didn't have a space before that until I was in the independent. My first film, Antoine Fisher, was. And so, working with an actor director sort of was like speaking the same language. When I met with Chris, he just had this approach. It felt like on set it wasn't going to be about law, it was going to just be about freedom. So the cool thing about Frank was, I believe that I was discovering him as Chris was discovering him. So a lot of times we improv, and I would say it's good because of that. Stop looking at me. And I'm gonna stop there.
I mean, I think it's sort of, we used to have a lot more films like that. That were just about relationships or falling in love or falling out of love, or things that happen to everybody. And then something sort of happened where everything has to be about like a concept that is sort of bigger than life. And for me, I never lost interest in the smaller stories, and I think that those can feel just as exciting and interesting, and sometimes even more so, because you can really relate to them and really put yourself in them, and it's not necessarily escapism. It's something else. It's something that kind of hits you on a deeper level. And those are the kind of films that I like. So those are the kind of films I like being in. So it was a great pleasure to be in this one.
I think it's like, for instance, when I spoke to this young girl last night, it's like she was like, I hate seeing films where it's like I can't relate to like Contagion or something. Like I'm like, okay, well we're not all dying and like in a gas mask, and like so it's like, like I always cry at a different time when I watch this film, and it was like watching Don, and the thought of like, that your parents will get old, and there's something that's like, I think comforting and seeing that with a group of people and strangers and just like recognizing your humanity and life, and that it's, you know, that you're just going through an emotion, but you're also like in the story with the characters. But I don't know, it's sort of, because you're right, it's like not like escapism, but you're still like, it's like relating to a story that you can actually relate to. And I think everyone, there's a character in this film for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, that's like, oh, that's me, or that's my friend, or, you know.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay.
In personal, I won't say who. Somebody in my family, so I can.
Is
Frank was.
Is someone in your family?
Frank was. I say a love child came from a Frank in my family, and it kind of made me sympathize when I was looking at your character, because it's like for life. Not until you get married, not until you get in relationships, you become more sensitive to the judgment you have on generations before.
Right.
So I could have been Alex, personally. I could have been George. I wasn't Frank, but it touched me on that level, and just kind of like the Cosby Show back in the days. But this is more of a contemporary. Seriously, it was more of a contemporary.
That's like the best compliment I've ever gotten.
No, I mean, come on now. I mean,
I love
the Cosby Show.
Yeah, but the whole workaholic,
Yeah.
independence, you know, a lot of us are
Family.
not wanting to do what our parents did. We want to achieve more, you know.